Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's second episode of Beyond the Ordinary, season 26. 26 seasons, Marilyn. How long have I known you?
It was like your first season,
Was
wasn't
it
it?
my first season? Wow.
Or it was
I've
your
known you
second.
almost 10 years.
Yeah. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was either it might have been your second.
Okay.
Hi everyone. When John and I get together, watch out.
Watch out. This is gonna be so much fun, y'all. Everyone, welcome to today's show. And I'm super excited because one of my favorite people on the planet, and dear friend and just trusted friend, which I feel that we're really aligning with people who are really supposed to be in that congruency of our, I'll call it tribe. And I think perhaps for me, there's also a process where maybe I'm not intellectually mourning, but my body and the energetics are mourning of the letting go of different dynamics, even though I may not necessarily be conscious, but I know I'm streaming away. And it seems like those that I am really connected with, like it's shrinking. But I think that's the expansion part, that in the shrinking allows the expansion to happen as we align. And what I love about, well, my friendship with Marilyn is one thing, which is amazing. We have so much fun together, and share so much similar interest. But when we work together in this way, there's so much alignment when we share what's resonant. And Marilyn, if you're not familiar with her, she's an amazing psychic medium. And she brings in the intelligence of the information she receives in a very grounded, applicable way. So if you can't use it in your life, then it's like it's not in alignment. But it's very wise. And again, it's actionable. And Marilyn's no nonsense way of putting things together, but also very heart inspired. It's something all of us can learn from. And with that, today we're going to get into guided living. And so welcome to the show, everybody. And Marilyn, again, thank you as always.
Thank you. Here. Yeah, so John and I, we're going to have a lot of fun with you guys. And what I would love for you to all do, John and I have been talking quite a bit, and we really do trust each other a lot with our transparency and honesty. So there's going to be some great conversation that happens. And I think it's a very timely thing to happen right now. So we usually work together. It's not so much as an interview as we really bring the fun to the table. And one of the things I really would like all of you to do is to think about a question that you may have. I'm already getting information for 2022, which I'm sure you are too, John. I'd be curious. But people, it's going to be really intense in a way of impactful is the word that I'm hearing. So how you receive it and how you sit and walk in it is going to be super important. And it's about being empowered as you do that. So what I would like to do is we're entering into the last quarter of this year, is I really would like you to all think about something that you're really ready to do. You're really ready to light up. Like John's talked about, I'm so focused on the black feather behind you, John. Really ready to relinquish and the things that you want to light up in your life. And I'd love you to write a question down on a piece of paper. Okay. And then as John and I are talking, and as I'm doing readings and whatever, we're both doing readings, I'd love for you to write down whatever resonates with your heart. And by the end of this call, you will have a reading from your guidance, from your higher guidance. So I really would invite everybody to participate in this call. And I think I'm going to do things that I don't normally do, where I'm going to get you to participate and learn the symbolic language of your soul and really get into the symbols. Like, let's all do this right now. John, do you mind if I just take over a little bit?
I love it. Yeah.
So what I want you to do, I want everybody to put in the chat, what does a black feather mean to them? John, what does a black feather mean to you?
That's a good question. Let me tap into that. For me, a black feather is very shamanic. So it's a lot of transmutation. Yeah.
Transmutation for what, though? What do you think, if it's related to you?
It's transmuting egoic structures. It's like going into those shadow things that we keep perpetuating unconsciously that want to be released.
Love that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something to you, but what I like about, so everybody who's putting it in the I want to read it because I feel like it has to do with a little bit of a reading for you, John. So we've got magic, flight, peaceful, crow, changes, magic for brooding. Angels are talking. I see black feathers with a white heart on the end, releasing issues, spirit, death, dream of flight, escape, turning away from what does not serve me. Black feather means someone on the other side is watching out for me, lightness to angels, high flying knowingness of truth. I'm not going to read them all, but they're magical and amazing. And you all did not need to Google to find out what that symbol meant.
I love that.
You all used your own life experience, and that's what I'm a big teacher of. Now, I want to share something with John real quick, and then I just want to let John take over his show. I don't want to take it over. But I've been a little disrupted today by somebody who I only met once who touched me in a way just by our conversation. And he suddenly passed at a very young age, 3 kids, loving wife, beautiful family, beautiful life. And I feel that's symbolic for all of us to really take the reins of our life and live it and to not wait. Because my friend was telling me, she was his tennis partner. She said he was so excited about retiring soon and being able to live the life. And he was waiting for his elbow to heal a bit so he could go out and play tennis again. And he was at the last tennis game. I'm on a team now. And he was at the game and couldn't wait. What are we waiting for? So let's this call be the transmutation away from the ego state of what we think it's supposed to be or should be. And let's really enter into a spiritual transformation and surrender to what wants to show up. And I'll leave it at that.
No, I love that. And that part of the surrender and again, the guided living is really what the topic of today is calling. It's the energies for 2022, as you stated earlier, it's coming in and it is being in this. We talked about the present moments and we've, in this community, we all know about being present and being in the present moments. And it's really anchoring into a literal definition of really being. It's not a philosophical thing. It's not like something to acquire or try to do in meditation, but it's really a breath by breath type of creation and surrendering to that. And so again, the way that you structure your courses and the way that you teach is really resonant for me now because it calls for that grounding in and embodying. And I'm wondering what your experience with your students, your members, people that follow you, and your personal experience also are demonstrating to you in regards to that.
Yeah, I feel like we're very spiritual, multidimensional beings, but we can no longer fly out here. We have to bring everything down to the earth and to the practical because we're being called to embody our physical beings so that we could bring our gifts out into the world and start being the light ways, I like to call them the warriors, not the warriors, the pathfinders of where we're meant to go and what meant to do. And you started with the shamanic journey, right? So we're meant to take people from the dark to the light, and they need people to take them from the dark to the light. So for me right now, John, the biggest thing is we can no longer be in airy fairyland. We can no longer hide. We can no longer take flight and not come back. We have to recognize that we're human beings and we're in our physical bodies for a reason, and we're spiritual beings, and we've got to bridge the two. And I think that's what's been happening over the past couple of years.
Yeah. Well, as we're bridging in also, I also have the awareness of an energy speeding up. So our bodies are acclimating to the speeding up. So it's wonderful. Let's attune to our bodies, but we're also being stretched in ways that we haven't been stretched before simultaneously. So what tools, what do we do? I know grounding, like I went into a spin like an hour ago. I was spinning so fast and it was an overwhelm of a lot of things happening at the same time and the to-do list and trying to control outcomes in the way that I'm used to doing linear things.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and it's just, for me, I realize that it's asking for whatever task I'm doing to really be intentional. What's my intention behind it other than crossing to-do lists or getting the tasks done in the old energies? And I'm wondering, again, how that's showing up for you or your awareness around how to do what you stated earlier, get out of airy fairy, but also being aware that something very esoteric is occurring as we embody.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I got to say something first because they just keep bothering me.
I love it.
So the feather above you is almost like they're smudging your soul and releasing stuff and clearing stuff out. And you have to write the book. You have
Ah,
to write it. It's
wow.
there's a huge catalyst of your speech, your word. It's like the feather in your hat. It's the fool's feather, which is about taking risks. And it's the thing that you have to do, and you have to commit to it by January and have it done by March.
Wow.
So I'm sorry I have to say that to you.
Chills. No, don't be sorry. Thank you so much. I love the clarity.
Yeah. So in the answer to your question, which I know, like, it's so hard for me to talk to John, like in a way where he's interviewing me, because we know each other so well and we're very aligned in our belief systems and our goals and how we live. And they keep showing me the lamp behind him, which I have a feeling this whole call is going to be like a reading for John and everybody.
Mhm.
But really for me, the energy that's spinning out, I said this to somebody about COVID, and I don't bring in COVID conversations because I want to respect all political views around that, all views around it, just like I don't talk about religion and stuff. But somebody was saying, when can we stop the fear around COVID? And I said, well, that's up to you. That's up to your choice. So just like the energy that's spinning out of control, because the world is spinning so fast and so much information is coming in and we have to acclimate to it, we get to co-create with it. We don't get to like back off from it or be afraid from it anymore. I feel like what John started out with is they're clearing out the space in John so that he can acclimate with this energy and let it be the driving force into the next level of your life. But that energy is uncomfortable because it's stirring up all the old emotions. And you and I both discussed that we're not running from emotions anymore.
Mhm. Right.
Just like you can't run away from daily tasks that really suck, excuse my language.
Yeah.
We've got to do those tasks so that we can make room in our life and room in our system to be creative and do the creations that we're meant to do. I hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I love that you're bringing this in also because in the consciousness in the present moment, we not only have to choose it, but we have to command it forward as well.
Yes.
And so
Love
there's
that.
choice and commanding, and it's powerful, and it's really demonstrating to us that we're saying, okay, we're divine. Well, if we're divine, then we're powerful, and we get to not ask, we get to command.
Yes.
And you did something really powerful for me last week. Marilyn was kind of guiding me because I've got some IRS notices that I have to deal with, and it's like it's been confusing for a while in paperwork. And Mary's like, okay, commit that you're going to get it done by next Friday. It's like, all right, committed. And things are moving forward where they were being stuck and making the choice, but then commanding the energy to flow forward. And then more clarity has come in around it that hadn't been there before. So even the switch of the intention in the present moment, knowing what needs to be done because it's presented to us, provides a forward momentum that again can get lost in that spinny energy or can get lost in the clearing out of the old to create the new, where the overwhelm can take over sometimes.
And you know what I'm noticing as you're talking, and we talked about, John and I spoke last week because we were both having this emotional experience. I think we're in our bodies like we've never been in our bodies before, and we're not used to it. And it's uncomfortable because I won't speak for you, I'll speak for me. But as I'm listening to you and we're talking about the practical and turning things on and being the igniter in our life, we've got to drop into our physical. And dropping into our physical means we have to feel everything we're feeling in the moment. And it doesn't mean that you get to push it away or try to rationalize it or have results to it. You've got to learn how to be with it. So I love everything you're saying. And I feel like grounding, you said before I had a ground, but we have to ground differently too. There's an awareness. Like when I'm sick, I hate being sick. Can't stand it. And the reason why I can't stand it is because it makes me very aware of my physical body. And I like floating out a lot.
Yeah.
So I feel like now the 2022 is about bringing everything together. And then what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with all that energy? What are you going to do with the physical and the spiritual and the energetic and the psychic and the psychological and all of it? What are you going to do with it? And it could feel like a crazy little vortex inside your system. But we have enough knowledge and wisdom, and your community is super spiritual. I know your people. They're incredible. We've done enough work on ourselves now to show up. It's not about waiting till we're healed to get it done. We have to show up in the mucky muck and make it happen.
Right. Well, and the conversation around healing is really interesting also because even the definition of that is changing and aligning for me. I know a few years back there was people were saying there's no such thing as healing, and it's like, no, hold on a second. was like, what do you mean there's no such thing as healing? Oh yeah, you're separating yourself and you're creating polarity. And I go, and for a little bit, it's like, okay, I can resonate in healing how we're moving past it and how we can be in our power. But then I came to realize that we're always healing consistently, because we're separate from the divine. And in that, there's that healing towards it. Any part where we're not experiencing that ultimate divinity, that love as the word that we use for that access point, then a part of us is healing towards it. And so being aware of that is so important, not as something wrong that we're healing, but an awareness of what we're striving for, what impulses us to keep moving forward. And that's exciting.
I have a question for you, because so when they said there's no such thing as healing, is that because we're healed already? Is that was their point?
Right.
Okay.
And it's not wrong, but it's just a different interpretation.
There's no wrongs or rights, right? It's just different interpretation, like you said. Yeah, what were you going to say? I'm just finding this conversation interesting because I feel like people, for me, if you approach it, I'm like you, if you approach it from that level, then we're missing that we are feeling the separation. So then we feel like we're doing something wrong.
Right.
If we're suffering from an emotional experience, then we feel like we're doing something wrong. If we're having a painful experience. So for me, that stuff never works for me fully. I do believe in one sense we are healed, but we're remembering that. And that's the whole thing.
Right. And that's the suffering, the forgetting.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So it can be all of it. And what comes up in this conversation is that we don't have to agree, but to honor each other's truth. Because I truly believe that we're all trying to get to the same place, or we're all being directed, magnetized towards the same place. And it's actually the variance of truths that allow more of our wholeness to have an experience out of the forgetfulness and into the remembering.
Yeah.
So it's a rub sometimes that, or in the pressure that sometimes we're guided into our own truth and our own knowing. So it's just, and again, it's a form of guidance instead of a form of contradiction or warring against an opinion or an experience, perhaps, and probably more of an experience. Yeah.
The way you're talking, John, you're bringing up a lot of stuff for me because, think about how people think about guides and how people revere them in a way that they don't even partner up with them or co-create with them, or they bow down to them, or I can't work with Archangel Michael, I can't work with Jesus. There's a lot of right of wrongs in everything that we're discussing. So I feel like my question to everybody, and including you and myself, what is it? I said this to somebody yesterday. I was making her drop in and I said, what is it that you want? And she kept talking about everybody else around her. And I said, no, because her question was, what do I want? What is my perspective? I need to know my perspective. I need to know what I need. I need to know. And then she kept talking about everybody else around her. And I was like, well, what is it that you want? What is it that you want, John? What is it that everybody wants?
Oh, freedom is definitely a component, right? Freedom, I think a lot of us can resonate with freedom. And freedom from what? Or freedom towards what? And that's a whole other definition, right? It's a whole nother point of creation.
So if we want freedom, how do we get freedom from the, okay, that's a great question. From the things that you just said, like so then we have to get clear about our belief systems, right? So that we know that what we're free from and what we're not free from. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if I lean into a belief system that I'm healed and I'm not doing it right, then I'm not free.
Right.
John and I are going to go too deep.
Which
I know all of you are going to be, they're all right. And growing up, I was taught that my body, this is great.
Yeah. But even the part of freedom is, okay, you want freedom, but freedom doesn't necessarily equal peace. So do you want peace or do you want freedom? But no, I want to feel successful and I want to feel free, but I want to be at peace and I want things to be graceful and easeful. But freedom doesn't always equal that. Freedom can push your edges and kind of force things in different ways. So really getting down into the heart level, other than just the intellectual level, of what your interpretation of the dream of freedom means to you.
Mm-hmm.
We all have these notions, these dreams, or these fantasies. If we had this, then we'd have this.
Okay, so now I have a question for everyone. So what I love about this, John and I both are very much in touch with our guides. Who's here is not in touch with their guides or thinks it's such a difficult thing to be in touch with their guides? I'd love to know. And so just say, yeah, so are you, let me ask this, say, yes, you're in touch with them, or no, you're not in touch with them. This way I can understand the answers more and see the majority. Okay, great. I think we're going to move into a conversation about this, because that's a big part of, I think, that allows us to live in this freedom of even the discussion that John and I are having. I get to try stuff on and decide what's good and what's not good for me based on my guides' work with me. They're not above me. They're co-creating with me. They're walking with me. And if somebody presents me with their truth, I right away go to my guides and decide whether it's my truth or not. And you do too.
Yeah.
And we're talking about freedom, and how to have real freedom. We have to know ourselves at such a deep level. And our guides help us to know ourselves at a deep level. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
How many people feel, let me ask one more question, and then I promise I'm going to be there with you, because I have some, actually, John, you have a little boy running around the back of your house. I've never done this with you. It could be your future grandson. And then they keep showing me the lamp, which we're going to talk about in a second. Thank you, Eleanor. How many of you feel your guides can help you?
Yes or no's? Yeah.
Now I have one more question.
Great questions. Oh, this is fun.
Love this. Love this. How many of you feel, okay, this is great. And then I want everybody to do another reading thing in a second, but I want to hear from John. How many of you feel that being in co-creation, so my guides are not above me, they're not below me, we are walking together. When I bowed down to them, they bowed down to me. And they were like, and I was like, what are you doing? And they were like, well, we're helping you, but you're helping us too. And they really helped me to align with them in a co-creative way. How many of you feel like if you were in communication with your guides, you could create you could create the life that you desire? Let's do that. Let's not put magical on it. Okay. Now I have another question. I'm so sorry, John. I'm railroading.
No, this is fantastic. Please.
John let me host last time by myself, so he doesn't realize it. April and I are like, we have more fun without you, John. No, kidding.
I get to participate with the audience. This is awesome.
How many of you think you're not gifted to talk to your guides? Answer it this way. You are gifted or you're not gifted. Are you gifted? Are you not gifted? Interesting.
Yeah, that one's kind of both.
Okay. So now they're asking me to do something else. Yeah, it's both. All right, you ready, guys? What does a lamp mean to you? Okay, so I'm going to speak just in case. I don't know if people watch. So, John, what does a lamp mean to you?
It's like the light bulb going off. It's creativity. It's flow. It's igniting. Yeah.
Okay, so let me read a couple of these, and I'm going to tell you what the secret question was that I didn't know until they threw it in. We have illumination. We have a lot of light, which I love. And if you noticed before, I didn't know they were going to do this with me. We did the feather, and everybody's answer was pretty much different. This one, we have a similarity here. We have light, we have hope, we have leading the way, we have light, energy, warmth, we have illumination, we have light the way, duality, possibility, something I can turn on to see. Love that. Keep the light within us, magic genie, turning into something not previously seen. Your guides just gave you a key, and this is the key for you to light the path to your soul and to your work with them. You're all gifted. And this is all you needed. If you take that one word, clarity, light, knowledge, what was yours, John?
Illumination and creativity.
And flow, you said.
Flow, yeah.
Isn't that the energy of your guides?
Absolutely. Oh God, yeah.
Explain that to everybody so they're not just hearing from me, how that's the energy of your guides and how that works in your life, so they could see how whatever word they wrote, light. And what I want everybody to do is to focus and meditate on that word tonight or for the next week. And that is where your guides are dancing with you. And anybody can call bullshit on me. I don't care. John knows I don't care about stuff like that. I just want to play along and really get everybody involved. Go ahead.
Fantastic. So if we get into the part of flow, I know I'm connected with my guides when I'm in that flow. I know I'm always connected to them, but when that co-creation is happening, it's a flow state. If I'm doing it here on the show, if I'm doing it in the membership, or if I'm really asking for something while I'm walking in nature or get this inspiration, I feel that flow. So those are definitely my guides. Creativity also. And again, I'm getting the chills, like those creative urges when I can sit down and try to write from a headspace and nothing will come out. I can sit there for 30 minutes to an hour. It's just like nothing. Or I can sit down for 5 minutes and just go. And like a couple of paragraphs will just flow within a few minutes. And I barely even need to edit it in that creative space or inspiration. So it's totally the way I work with my guides.
And you move out of the way and you just let them work through you, right?
Yeah. I don't even know I can tell when I'm getting in the way. I can feel it in my body and I can feel the resistance. So that embodiment phase that you were talking about earlier, that we can feel how uncomfortable it can be in our body. Well, that's also uncomfortable when we're out of alignment with that co-creation. For me, that's a barometer.
Yeah. So, but are your guides part of this is going to be an interesting question. I love the conversation we're having because we're going to drive down to the truth. What's happening as we move into, as everybody knows, I'm not telling you things that you don't know. As we move into 2022, you can't be anywhere but in your truth. I said that in 2021 as well when I did the predictions for 2021, but now it's more so than ever. So people have in my opinion, because it's an expertise of mine and it's my field, but you could subscribe to something else. I don't care. There's a misunderstanding around guidance. And I want to ask John a question first. When you're out of alignment or when you're having struggles, are you still being guided?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you do something, I want everybody to answer this question. When you're making a choice about something in your life and it doesn't go the way that you hoped it would go, how many of you believe, you read the answer yes or no? Yes is you were guided. No, you weren't guided. So when you're making a decision in your life and it doesn't go as well as you wanted, were you guided or were you not guided? Yes is yes, I was guided. No, I wasn't guided. What about you, John?
Yes, I was guided. And I was just even thinking, it's like, let me think back as to regrets that I have. And I had circumstances that I wish wouldn't have hurt or would have impacted other people, but I don't really have regrets in the decisions and what flowed through. And so that just answers the question of knowing that even when it didn't work out, it did.
And isn't that the greatest thing, to be able to walk with that support instead of us saying, oh my goodness, I did something wrong again. I'm such a, like my biggest thing was I was a loser. It's my fault. It's always my fault.
Yeah.
And now they've taught me everything is information. Every experience is guidance.
Every experience is guidance.
Yeah. So what Pat says was guided, but maybe I wasn't listening. Now, I love this, Pat. Thank you for sharing that. And I saw some of the others. You probably were, or now you have to listen as to why you weren't listening. So there's always an opportunity for development of relationship. So if they tell me go left and I go right, and then I come back to them, I'm like, or I go, why did I go right? Like, I should have listened to you. They're like, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about now that you went right and what you learned. Or if they tell me go left and I go left and I'm like, that wasn't fun. I'm like, why'd you tell me to go left? Well, let's talk about that now, because now we have a character building moment and you're going to evolve into something else.
Right.
So
where does free will come into? Well, we always have free will. We're guided and we're willfully choosing which direction we're going and whether it contradicts the guidance or not. And I think that for me, in my awareness and in the times that we're in right now and the energetic cycles, that we're really going through a maturation process as spiritual and human beings. And in that growth, the choosing towards something that we've graduated from, we're going to feel it, the impact, and in a way that's probably not going to be so comfortable very quickly, because we are being guided into a different way of creation and an intelligence that we have access to that we can't really ignore anymore. We can't bury our heads in this. Well, we can bury our heads in the sand. Let me take that back. But it's going to hurt. We're going to feel the separation more than we ever have physically and emotionally if we keep choosing that separation. That's been my experience. And I've been seeing that playing out with a lot of different people.
No, I agree with you. So my question to you and to everybody on the call is, how would you define comfortable? What's comfortable? What's comfortable to you, John? How would you define comfortable?
Oh, for me, comfortable is being in the flow. And it's hard to really point it down, because once I get comfortable, I get uncomfortable and I want to create something else. So it's a moving target. And I think this comes down to what we talked about earlier, being in the present moment. It's not a definition of what comfort's going to be 2 weeks from now. It's like, what's comfortable in the guidance now? And the comfort will show up based on how aligned I am with the truth in the moment that's flowing through me, because my truth right now may not be the same truth that it is 2 weeks from now.
Right. So why are we defining a moment as comfortable or uncomfortable when every moment is just a moment, right? We just said about being in the moment. So let me ask you this: you're out of alignment, or you weren't out of alignment. You're just feeling the energy because there's stuff that you have to do in the practical and to clear it out and stuff. That's an uncomfortable moment for you, or a comfortable moment?
It's uncomfortable because I'm not liking how my body's feeling, but it's also it's comforting because I know that I'm opening space for something that's evolving in me. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's our perspective.
Yeah.
Remember, like everybody talked about how 2020 was like the changing of perception and perspective. And now we're being asked to even go deeper in it and to define this world based on our definition, not based on everybody else's definition of it. So I love all of that. I think that that's great.
And again, it's how do you do uncomfortableness? Because again, our bodies are feeling it. It's like our minds, the disparity of when we're not around other people that we resonate with, or that we feel like we can really drop in and play with or open up to, perhaps. We can feel that there's a rub. We can feel that it's like, and I would describe that as uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with any of that. I just think if everything's information, then that's a great moment. Like, I want to read some of these. They're so good.
No judgment, someone would just wrote, right?
Right. It's a moment where we get to choose, wait a second, I don't like this. I get to choose it. It's not put upon me. We think it's put upon us, or something may have happened that made us really uncomfortable, but then we get to choose what we can learn from it and where we can move from it. And that's my goal. So I feel like I didn't know this conversation was going, but I'm uncomfortable until I feel the time is right. Well, that's good. That means change is happening. Yeah. And when we're comfortable, sometimes we're not changing. It's just what John said. John said, I'm uncomfortable, but I know I'm making space for something better. And that was the same thing with me last week. I was so uncomfortable in my emotions, and I have a therapist that I just hired. And she said, well, you're having a big breakthrough. What do you think? And she goes, you're having a big crisis right now. What do you think? And I said, this is amazing. I'm going to break through into something better. So I want everybody to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I love your definition. This is why I say, John, you have such an incredible community. I don't like calling it audience, and I know you don't either. You don't recognize that. So I love comfortable to me is where I find joy, being at peace. But sometimes I question everybody here is comfortable where you don't have any change happening in your life.
No.
I might have misunderstood, right? So comfortable for you is flow to you. It's not when you're not having change, right?
Yeah. I also realize my patterns as well. So if I go back into the history of my patterns, is that when I start getting too comfortable, I kind of create situations that will start breaking. It's like, oh, finances are kind of doing something, or this other thing, to kind of create a momentum for expansion, because I can sit back and be the big bellied rich guy and kind of hang out and do the retired thing. If I'm really, really in that definition of comfortable, I'll sip margaritas by the seashore and just kind of get by. But there's something else that drives me. It's like, let me create a little discomfort so I can go to the next thing that my soul is calling towards, or that something in me is wishing to experience, rather than just doing that. Okay, I'm done.
I love this. Okay, so now they're taking me someplace else.
I love this.
So good, John. Oh, which John and I are weaving a story together, and we're all weaving it together. So we're all participating. So there's a little boy behind John. I want you to use your imagination. I'm an imaginative teacher. My guides taught me early on that they are playing in my imagination. So many people that study mediumship and psychic ability, they're like, oh my goodness, what if it's my imagination? What if it's my imagination? And when I said to my guides, I was channeling and I said, what if this is my imagination? They said, who cares? We're giving you great advice.
Yeah.
We dance in your imagination. We create in your imagination. So I want everybody, whether you close your eyes or whether you look in the background where I'm seeing the little boy, you don't need to know where I'm seeing it. And I really want you to play along with this. There's a little boy in John's apartment right now, and he's doing something. I want you all to put in the chat what you feel this little boy is doing. Don't worry about being right or wrong, because there's no right or wrongs in this conversation. There just is. So, and then I'm going to ask John too. What is the little boy doing in the background?
I'm waiting for a lot of people to. Nice. He's waving.
Do you want to read some of those, John? I forgot this. I got to get the secret.
Yeah, waving and playing, dancing, running, crayoning, waiting for February. It is a February baby, by the way. I don't know who wrote that. Bouncing the ball, Renee, coloring, flowing with his hands in the air. He's calling you to play, has a book of some sort. Jumping, playing, jumping on the couch. Jumping on the couch is what I was seeing, and kind of like towards me, like wanting attention, like inviting me to play. Yeah. Playing. Yeah, so interesting. Flying a balloon.
Love it. So I saw him also. Yeah, I think so. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrongs, right? I'm not even going to say what I saw, because I don't think it matters, and I don't want anybody hanging on to, oh, the medium said so, I was wrong, and that's not true. The whole idea of it was, my guides were saying, we're having this great conversation where we went from the feather and what the feather meant, and into the illumination and the light, and that's where our guides are. And if we just tap into that, and now they're saying, well, if we just do the thing, we just feel what the little boy is doing, that's our creativity. That's where we're hanging out. That's where we get to play with our guides. They said that's also where change is. That's also going to bring you back into comfortable when you're in uncomfortable. So think about what that little boy was doing and how it felt when you saw him do it. That emotion, Spirit is saying, is going to bring you out of the uncomfortable into the comfortable. And that's going to help you to create magnificent change in your life. Because remember, we started out this call with, what do you want? What is your big question? What do you want in your life? So they're saying, playing the ball, letting them crawl up into your lap. Those are the moments that you have in yourself. You don't need somebody else. There's tools and techniques you need to learn in order to open up to this. But that is where we are hanging out. That's where we're co-creating with you. That's where we're playing with you. And that's where you get to create comfort out of discomfort. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They said something else before I asked the question and I lost it. I'm hoping they bring it back, but go ahead.
They'll bring it back. And again, I love that you're bringing in the little boy. And yes, I found out that my future grandson, I found out this week that it's gonna be a boy. So it's coming in. I don't know who wrote that he's waiting for February.
I thought you told me he was a boy. You didn't?
No, Olivia thought that it might have been a boy.
Oh, I knew it was a boy because he's like running around. He's already in your apartment.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, fun. And how wonderful, because I've been hearing also, it's like play. It's like you need to open up more play. It's like not stop being so serious, instead of pausing this seriousness, but really to bring more of the playful energy. And also any task that I'm doing where I get into the overwhelm, or if it feels like it's too much, or it's like it's not moving, So again, be intentional, like what, bring it from a place of joy and what it's bringing to me rather than what it's taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
But that's what we have. That's the co-creative energy of the guides. Also, the guides aren't taking away. I'm by accessing that joy and what it's giving to me because it wants to give to me, not that I'm forcing it to, or doing things a process so that it'll play with me. It just happens when I don't resist it. It happens when I'm not in another frame of mind that takes me away from it. That's the way that we grew up. You have to work hard. You have to do things. Once you finish, then you can do that.
Yes.
And that's shifting.
And so when they want me to play one more game, and then we're going to talk about how I teach, which is different. That they have something so much more for us than we ever have for ourselves, because we're dreaming from limitation, we're dreaming from past experiences, we're dreaming from brackets. So when we surrender to our guides and we get into that playful, joyful energy, which is what, for me, I study the soul. I feel like we all study the soul in their own ways, but that's why I have membership for your soul, Soul Finder Academy. Everything's got soul on it because I'm so interested in the soul. That's our soul, is our joy. I resonate with joy. Some people resonate with happy, whatever it may be, but it's that playfulness, that creative energy that is so important. So I have to write the secret question first. Everybody close their eyes, John 2. And there's a song playing in John's apartment. And you'll either hear the words or you'll feel the sound and you'll hear the rhythm or the melody. How does it make you feel? And if you hear the words, I want you to write that down too. What'd you get, John? Well, everybody answer. Piano Man, great. Hello, Dolly. Repeat the question. There's a song playing in John's apartment. Close your eyes and listen. What song do you get? Here comes the sun.
Raindrops are falling.
Lean on me when I'm strong.
Don't worry, be happy.
How did it make you guys feel when you heard that song? By the way, everybody's communicating with their guides right now.
Oh, yeah.
You're all communicating with your guides. That's how easy it is, because I move you out of mind chatter. You're all playing a game and you're communicating with your guides. So I would love to know how it made you feel. John, what was your song?
It was, oh God, what's the name of it? Something Melody. You know that song from Ghost, like the romantic song?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one came out. It's like, interesting. I haven't thought of that song since probably I saw the movie.
How does that make you feel, that song?
It made me feel relaxed and kind of like I was like kind of like a relaxing and an arrival point or being met somehow. Yeah.
So mine was Up and Away in My Beautiful Balloon, which it's usually never that. It's usually I Can See Clearly Now. And I was like, up and away. And it felt like really fun. So the secret question I was asking, your guides were asking, was what do you need to get into your joy? What do you need to get into your joy? So the feeling that the song gave, John said, peace. I was excited. That's what I need to get into my joy, to just feel that. We can feel that at any moment. We can choose to feel peace. We can choose to feel excitement. The other thing you can do is read the lyrics of the song and just see what resonates with you, what jumps out, because there's usually a message in the lyrics of the song as well that's going to answer the question of what do you personally need to get into your joy?
This is so good, Marilyn. This is
good. I'm like glad.
Oh yeah, this is so fun. You know, I know we're going to get into the way you teach, but let's do it in conjunction with the special offer.
Oh yeah. That's what I want to talk about, actually.
You're going to want to work more with Marilyn. If you haven't worked with Marilyn, this is just a glimpse of the interaction and how you just tap into you, but in this fun and just very grounded but expanded way. And again, Marilyn doesn't pull any punches either. So it's just so wonderful. So follow along with us as Marilyn goes through the special offer. The link is in the chat box. April's about to type it in there. She hasn't already. And I know there it is, Marilyn's offer. You can also get to the offer by, if you need to open up a new browser, go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Marilyn26. And it'll take you to that same page. Marilyn, you're fun and funny. from Suzette. That's
Oh,
sweet.
thank you, Suzette.
Yeah. So Marilyn, guide us. Yeah. Lead us
Yeah.
through how everybody's going to experience you this time in the everyday guided living bundle.
I was going to share my screen. I was going to get technically crazy. So here's the thing, guys,
I'll
and
share my screen.
it's okay. I'm just going to say it. Everybody follow along, but I really want you guys to follow along because something that I'm recognizing, I've been doing this work for like 14 years and I'm teaching. We're going to do some readings after this. I've been teaching and reading for that much time. And one of the things that got me was I really wanted people to be able to do what I could do. And I believe everybody's gifted. It's not a bullshit. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. I believe it. And my guides believe it too. They're teaching guides. So this bundle is everyday guided living. And something that I'm recognizing the type of teacher I am, and I'm starting to get a lot of feedback from people is how I teach differently. And you can see by the way I play that it gets you out of your way. Somebody was saying, why can't I hear them? You know, why can't I see them? The only thing that's in your way is mind chatter. So this everyday guided living bundle, you're going to learn how you can really clearly communicate with your guides. And I teach through energy. Our guides are, you need to know who your guides are. You're going to learn where they stand. You're going to learn how to create an actual relationship with them. So we work with vibration and feeling, and then we work with seeing, and then we work with hearing. So you're going to work on these things. I believe it's a 4 video class. It might be a 3 video class, actually, a 3 video class. They need to put more information on this page. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to tell my team that. So you really don't even have to share it because I realized there's not a lot on here that's they're really doing it. But so you're going to learn clairvoyancy, you're going to learn clairaudience, you're going to learn feeling, you're going to feel empowered, you're going to learn how to make decisions for yourself. My thing was, do not want people depending on me. I want people to read for themselves. And you all just did it. You didn't need Google. You didn't need your 1-800-psychic number. Not that any of you really do that. You didn't need any of that. You didn't need your healer. You all answered these questions yourself and you went on a journey. Whether you understand what it means or not does not matter. I have just opened a door. You have opened a door to a different way of understanding and listening. So I teach in a very fun way. I do meditate. I'm known for my meditations. They're usually in my paid programs. They're not out there. You're going to really enjoy this and get in touch with your guides. And then you're going to get this bonus class, which is Live Your Best Life Yet. And this is really good for you because you need to get clear about the kind of life you want to live. Because many people are walking around and forgive me if I'm speaking to someone and they're like, I know what I want, Marilyn, good for you. I am not being demeaning or condescending. I'm speaking to the general information that I get. And people are usually doing this. They're waiting for something to happen before they have it, or they've had too many disappointments that they're not really going for it. So the combination of these 2 classes allows you to make powerful choices, powerful decisions, to feel like you're empowered in your decisions and to co-create. And most importantly, surrender. Because when you're in communication with your guides, they moved me here. And I'm from Brooklyn, man. I'm from Manhattan. I'm from LA. I don't know what a friggin' redwood is. Those are redwoods, most of them. And I knew I wanted to be in nature. And this is where they moved me. And I was like, holy mackerel, you guys are right. I had no idea how to dream this up. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to check out this class. It's $97. When you join the class, you're going to get an offer to join my membership where there's a lot of live components, a lot of classes. It's pretty friggin' incredible for $1 to try it out for 30 days. Don't worry about it. We email you twice. We're so on top of our customer service. It's a little nutty because I'm a little nutty about it. And so is Laura. So we'll let you know. And if you don't want to continue on, you just let us know. It's not a problem, but it's for 30 days. After 30 days, you want to continue on. We send you the offer. It's 97 or it's a cheaper thing for a year. Come join us. Have fun.
Amazing. Amazing. This is so good. And I love the guidance on where you're living also, because again, I know about your move up there. And again, I was born in New York also. And my guides kept showing me Hawaii ever since a young age. It's like, oh, Hawaii. It's like, okay. It's like, it looks nice. And it wasn't like, it wasn't in a framework of a first generation American whose parents immigrated from South America, whose first jobs were mopping floors at JFK and working as seamstress in a sweatshop. So to think of something as luscious, for that to be in my realm of possibility, even though my parents always encouraged me to dream big and supported a lot, I would not know how to create this because it wasn't in the manifestations of the energies that I was around.
Yeah.
But the guidance showed up.
John, one of the, you can stop sharing if you want now.
Sharing
One of
that.
the things I really hope you guys take me up on this offer. John and I are on this offer because it's really a fun class. And one of the things my guide said to me, I'm a big dreamer. And my guide said, Marilyn, you're dreaming with brackets on. And I'm very direct with them. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not dreaming with brackets on. My dreams are big. And they're like, no, you're dreaming with brackets on. Because you're dreaming from past experience. You're dreaming from past disappointments. You're dreaming from what you know to be true, like John said. And if we haven't had a lush lifestyle, if we've only been suffering disappointment over the past many years, if we're struggling with things, how do you dream an expansion? And they help you get there. So that's where surrender happens, where you do a day in the life class and you start getting into what it is you desire and you start allowing yourself to dream again. And then you go, all right, I'm going to work with you, guidance. Show me the symbols. The universe is communicating to you every minute of every day. I'm not going to say me. I'm not going to say John. I don't know you guys, so I can't call out people and say Mary Jo's doing it and Sue's doing it. But a lot of people are missing the signs and the symbols. If I hear one person say to me, I don't have like somebody came on one of my things and they were like, this medium just told me I'm not as gifted as her. Nobody could be as gifted as her. I'm going to smack that person in the face. It's not true.
Please. Yeah.
It's not true. We're all gifted and we all have our own special gifts. Don't try to be like Joan and Mary and Fred. Be your own instrument. And that's what I teach too, how this is your instrument. That's my soapbox. I hope you come join me.
I love the soapbox. And it's what also happens with you, Marilyn, is like there's an attunement into the connection also. Yeah. So I know in your community and your membership that it's like everybody kind of hums a little bit in this other spectrum.
Yeah, and they all practice together and cheerlead each other and work together. And look at that, we've got Jill on here.
Well, let's get Jill to ask a question. Jill, why don't you unmute yourself?
Go ahead, April. Are you telling us something? We need to talk to Jill. Jill, you girl.
I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. I'm in Kauai.
Oh, you're in Kauai. I was going to say Hawaii or Florida. Nice to see you. You didn't do anything wrong.
That's the question for you, and you're so good. Okay, so first of all, I love this whole thing. I went against clear guidance, and it's kind of taken me down a rabbit hole since September 4th.
Okay.
I am on Kauai. I really love it. I have a lot of things coming through. I've got some books, audio books. John, maybe we can speak books now. I'm just very, very open. I'm not kidding. Like, that's how I roll. And I'm from New York too. So I'm just a little bit, do you have any guidance of how this next couple of weeks will come out? Because I'm a little worried.
Okay, I want to pin you. So I'm just looking at you and not everybody else, even though whoever's, it doesn't, I got it. I know how to do it.
Okay.
Good. Jill, September 4th, it's an interesting, first of all, your throat chakra is very, a little crimpy for me. It's not shut down, it's crimpy. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you're an incredible communicator. You're an incredible listener. Your gut is bothering me a bit because like you said, you went against clear guidance. I don't feel like you did. I feel like what you did is you had to have this experience in order to grow and expand in a very uncomfortable way into a very magical way. I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. The 9 is about a soul number. That's September 9. And it's all about this soul evolution. You're in this hermit card mode where you're supposed to really hold that lantern and say, okay, it's friggin' dark right now, but I am getting through it. I'm doing this. This is great. The 4 is all about foundations. This experience made you shift your belief system around stuff. It's making you grow into a whole new being. You're going to write about this experience. You need to communicate this experience. You need to get this experience out there. It adds up to a 13 new beginnings in mind, body, soul. You're on a huge journey. Honey, I have to tell you though, you got some months in front of you, not in a bad way. So how are you going to make this really great for you? Because there's about 6 months here where you're like, it's not bad. Spirit's like, please let her understand it's not bad. But like the ocean behind her, this is her destiny. And what if this was leading her to her destiny? What if this like rocky road right now, the rocks and the beach was leading her to her magic, to where she was going to go? If she held that in her system, forget about what she feels like she missed. Where would you go right now, Jill, if you trusted, look, whatever decisions you made, yes, you have to look at what made you make those. So some of it might've been fear and scarcity, but it's moving you forward into a really good direction. I feel like you're very clear. I'm not worried about you.
I am very clear. I just made I had to move from the beach and I made a mistake to where I moved to. and those that were around me. But I've already left. I've already left the building.
Good,
So I have.
good.
It's like later. And
Do you know
I'm
what you're
just-
gonna do with all of this? Are you ready to move forward? with
I'm
this?
totally ready. I've been ready for about a year. And what's coming through is I do speak this, I work with the angelics, and I do speak this language of light where
Beautiful.
I only, and it's a normal speech pattern, but I only empower the light and allow that to come through.
Okay. I want you to think about doing a podcast or something that would let this get out. And there's subscription-based podcasts now, but you need to get this vibration onto something where people can hear it and explore it. It's very much needed where we're moving in life. Okay. There's no and ifs or buts. We're not waiting for something to happen. We're not waiting till we know the marketing. We're just going to start recording
no.
and getting it out.
Oh no. It's like I should have been recording like 2 months ago.
Well, here's something I'm going to stop you on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You just jumped on me. You said, oh no. You were supposed to do it 2 months ago. Why aren't you doing it now? I want it done now. I'm being loving to you, but it's because it has to get out there. Spirit really wants it out there.
That's so cool. I love you.
You're also the last thing I'm going to say, and this is for anybody. You see the sky and the clouds behind her. Let's all do this. Jill, are you okay if I open it up to everybody, giving you their meaning of clouds for you as a reading?
Of course.
So everybody put in there what they feel the clouds are representing. Just put it what's representing. Please do not give Jill unsolicited advice. Just be what the clouds are doing. But there's beings, as you know, that are communicating from another level. You've got to get it into this world right now.
Oh yeah. Major.
John, do you have anything to say?
Hi, John.
Are you at Lidgate?
I'm actually in front of Leonani, around the corner from Lava Lava. I'm staying at Kauai Shores.
That's all I have to say. I think she's got it and she knows. I do have to say that it's just know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
In every moment, you said that, no, I left and it was a mistake. It's like, you're in each breath, exactly where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. And when you start doubting that, you start diminishing your energy from your physicality as well. You diminish yourself.
Oh, that's what's been going on for the last 5 days.
Well, and there's a lot of intense energies rolling through also, but remember, no matter where we are, because of where we are, we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And if you trust that, and then I wonder how that's.
I do. But yes. Do you get a Florida, Marilyn? Do you get a Florida at all?
Well, I said Florida when you first started your call.
I don't know if I should just go home to Florida and do it there.
I want you to stay in Hawaii right now. It's not time. I would give it.
That's what I thought. Yeah. You're the best. I love you. I love you, John. I love you, John. Okay, bye.
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 Let's go now to, let me get you to unmute. Thank you. Let's go to Nancy. Hey, Nancy, welcome.
I love that little dog that Gloria has.
Hi, John. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi, Nancy.
Actually a little bit similar themes going on here. I have made some movements with moving my horses and possibly moving my household. The place that I'm moving to, I think, will help expand my work that I do, but it's taken some time, and there's some resistance and fear coming up whether I'm making the right decision.
Okay. I'm getting such a headache, sweetie.
Yeah.
That's why I was holding my head. Like I've started getting a real bad pain in my head. And I'll get into your question in a second, but I want to talk about that. And then the lack of breath. Obviously, a lot of times when I do readings, I don't let people ask questions at all because I just dive into the energy. But I think we'd like to get to more people than normal. So it's better for me to take the question. So I appreciate you trusting me with that. But the whole thing is that you're thinking too much about it. You already know the answer and the feeling. And I don't feel like you're making the wrong decision. But one of the things I do feel is happening to you is you're so desiring change that you may be trying to change without looking at really what is it. And like wherever you go, you have to decide what is it that you're bringing with you? What do you want to change, and start changing it on the inside first right now. It doesn't mean that you can't move tomorrow or next week, but it's almost like you're like, I'm so done with this life. I need something different. I got to get to that next level. The move is actually good for you, Spirit said. The move is going to be really expansive and enlightening, but there's also going to be moments with any time with a move where there's disruption or there's uncomfortability. So they're asking you to just get inside and go, this is the life that I want. This is the life that I desire. Is this move going to give me this life? Can I really meet it and get it? And I feel like you can. This answer is yes, but it's going to be up to you of how many barricades and roadblocks you're going to put up. So I want this shifted. You've got to drop into your heart. Can I tell you something great? You just asked the question I was going to tell you. I want you, before you go to bed at night, I want you putting your hand, doesn't matter which hand is on one, I want you putting your hands on your heart, and I want you bringing your breath to your heart chakra. When we're in our head, it's very hard for us to drop down. I don't want you to worry about any answers. When I touch my ear, they're like so direct on me, talking to me. I don't want you worrying about any answers. They want you to just go to bed with the intention of ease and grace. Just show me the way. Just help me to trust it. Just help me to live my life from my heart in a very ease and grace. I like ease and grace. People who like, you don't need that word. I don't care. I like it. Ease and grace. But by doing this, I want you bringing your breath down. You're going to start living your life, as I grab my boobs, from your heart center. And that's what I want, because you're living divided and you can't have it. But you're okay, Nancy. You're much more conscious and aware than you think. And you want to make this move, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. And it's when I start to speak of it, I could feel like my heart start racing, or, when I question it, I could feel that in my body.
I'm going to stop you. I want you to think about the last time you moved or the last time you made a big change, and what are you afraid that's going to happen this time that happened in the past? And I really want you to start living it from, I'm doing this with somebody else. I'm going to go and have a coffee every morning when I move, because the first couple of weeks of moves are so hard. I'm going to make sure that I do 10 minutes of yoga. I'm going to be able to take that hike, and that's the hike I'm going to go to. I want you to start building the life from the inside out now to make that transition easier. Does that help, sweetie?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow, my head is hurting so much with you. I wanted to say, so everybody, so for Nancy, she's got a picture behind her with, it's a very interesting picture to me. It's a little bit of a stormy picture. Nancy, are you okay with me opening this up to the group?
Sure. Do you want me to push it a
No,
little?
I wanted you to leave it. Girl, stop controlling this reading. So go back to well, you saw Nancy's picture. Pin her a second. Okay. Everybody can pin her if you do it. You can just, I know Zoom works differently. What are those clouds? What is that picture trying to tell Nancy? Give her that information. John, do you have anything you want to add? John and I work in conjunction together.
I
Nancy,
love working with Marilyn. It's what you were saying. And the image that I get is that Nancy, it's like your present self is already in the future, but you're leaving parts of yourself behind. So it's like your spirit, like it's like the ghost of you is already there, and your physical is like, wait, you just left me, but you're moving so far ahead, and these other parts they don't know where you went, and so that part of you that's already there is wondering why it hasn't happened yet. So there's like this
So do I have to bring that part back, John?
Yeah, and actually do this. Grab these two fingers, your middle finger and your thumb.
Okay.
And tap one, then the other, one, then the other.
Oh, it's like an EMD.
And just say, I am here now.
Okay.
I am here now. And that's bringing that future part of you that's so capable that can do it, but into the present moment, so you can relax into the embodied state of you and the fullness of you. And then from there, you can feel the ease of making the decisions. You don't, but I want to, but I'm already there, but I don't know how to do it, but I'm already there. But it's no, here you are. And all of you gets to come with you.
Okay.
Love that.
Because you keep jumping and you don't stop. It's like you'll get to the next thing, but you'll jump again and you'll jump again. And it's like, get back to yourself. Does that relate?
It does. Thank you.
I agree to it.
Thank you.
Good job, Nancy.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you, Nancy. And thanks, Marilyn. That's fun. Who do you want to call on, Marilyn? I know that you're
Well,
like somebody.
Before I call on someone, I want to answer Eleanor's question in the Q&A, and I hope Eleanor's still on, but I just have to address this question. And if she's not, then everybody else will benefit from it. I've always worried about not having time to accomplish everything I want to do in this life. Is this fear I'm carrying over from another life? So I have a different belief system about fear carrying over from another life. I've done past life regressions with people, not me. I haven't facilitated. I participated, and I find them very beneficial just in the sense of learning. But I don't believe that what we carry in from another life is here to create a detriment to our life today. So for me, it's always about you just have this fear, period. And you need to address this fear. So whether it's from another life, whether it's from a future life, whether it's just from today, I would just have you address the fear, Eleanor. And then what I would have you do is, she said, I worry about not having time to accomplish everything. I really want you to get into action, because people are waiting to get past certain things before they do things, when all you need to do is to take action, sweetie, and to do the things you want to do. So let go of that. You're going to have fear no matter what. Anybody who creates change in life, anybody who does something expansive, anybody who does growth, we have fear. Spirit said to me, I was so afraid one moment because they called me to read Joan Rivers. And I was like, I don't know. And my guides are like, you're going to be afraid anyway. Who cares? Just do it. And I didn't. And they got someone else, but I was so freaked out.
Yeah.
And just let it go. And I just want you to start accomplishing and stop worrying about where this fear is coming from, because fear is present when we want to change. John, I know you want to say something to this.
Yeah. Well,
I do everything perfectly because of this fear. John, I love that, Eleanor. Thank you so much, because this is going to benefit so many people. John, I want you to address that part.
Oh, do I do everything perfectly? Well, for who?
I love that question.
For who? Oh, I just got the chills, Eleanor. That's the question for you. And that's your homework. Ask who you're right. It is a good question, but you know the answer. What did the clouds tell you when you saw them in the video earlier? What did the picture say to you? And be with that. And I had something else that I was going to share, but I've lost it, because I really think we need to sit into who are you doing it perfectly for? Oh, I remember now, and this is for everybody on the call as well. We also, we think about the fear and we get stuck in the fear because things are coming up, but if we take the consciousness and bring into embodiment, what's the consequence 5 years from now if I don't do this now? Or what's the consequence 3 years from now if I didn't do this action now? That's another fear that's actually a positive motivational fear. Mm-hmm. Well, if I know what my future timeline is going to be because I chose not to do this, instead of dwelling if I do this, or I don't know how to do this, what's the cost of you not doing it now because of fear?
I love that.
And that's huge. If we really asked ourselves, well, I didn't address that money thing when I did, so then I had to pay all these penalties, or I didn't speak up to my boss in a way where I wasn't bullied anymore, but I suffered 3 years of bullying because of it. And then I finally left my job anyway. I didn't update my resume. It's whatever it is that we're waiting to put off. It's let fear guide you that way. And it's like, at what cost, at what expense to you, and knowing that you deserve the absolute best outcome for you.
I have to say something real quick. Yeah, just real quick, because this is so good, John. That was I knew, hand it over to John. I want to say something. Regret's a big one, Cece, right now, with the grief of where we are in this life right now with 2021 and 2020. So letting go of the grief is a really good thing. And then somebody asked, Jenny, thank you for your question. She said, I feel like I've been with fear my whole life. I was extremely fear-based. I feel like a lot of spiritual people are, because we're so uncomfortable on the physical plane. We feel so much. So you have to learn how to be with it. It's like what John and I discussed early on, not make it your enemy, not try to get past it. Now I don't fight fear. Fear doesn't get to drive my car. but I notice fear and I'm like, okay, well, let's keep going. It's something new and honest. I love that. So I want to ask for Eleanor that everybody give her what the lotus flower wants her to know behind John. When you're so different, it's hard to find your place. Eleanor, I just did a whole podcast about being normal, not being normal. So honey, you're in good company. I really, look, I'm sharing. April, share my friggin' offer again, because I want everybody to take that $1 upgrade and come into membership and play with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it on the screen here. Let me find it.
But I have to say who the next, Eleanor, great question. You all of us, I love the conversation. So Micah wants to choose, and Venus wants to choose Gloria and her dog.
Gloria and her dog. All right, Gloria. And the special offer, it's going to be in the chat box, April, if you'll type it in there. I was going to put it on my share screen, but
I'm sorry.
hey, Gloria.
Hi.
April.
Yeah, she loves to be in the energy for sure, and the attention.
She's great.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you guys obviously are talking about is resonating so much with me. The fear and being stuck, and sort of beating myself up because I was afraid to make the wrong move. Or anyway, I'm just going to let you.
So your guides, Gloria, can help you pass the feeling of being stuck and that the regret and like that you can't move. Because what's happening is there's a little bit of a cycle of happening with you where, thank you, where you are stuck because I can't get my eyes off the page to even look at you. But it's more of a thought. It's more of a chatter thing now. And it's not really true. They said if she goes back and really looks at the timeline of her life, I'd love for you to go back to like 5 years old, 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever it is, doesn't matter. They said they'd love to see you do it over like at least 10 events. They said, you're going to see that you're not as stuck as you think you are, that you have really made moments and movement in your life. And they said that you're not recognizing in yourself what you are doing. Even if what you're doing is sitting on this call and taking it in, you are making movement because you're looking to better yourself. You're looking to be in I love John's community, a light-minded community. You're not being a victim. You're not saying, yeah, it's not me, it's my life, it's happening to me. You're saying, I'm stuck and I need to get better. So Spirit's like, can we just acknowledge that right now, please? And can we just look over the span of your life and notice the great things you did? And then they're showing me your dog is so cute, but they're showing me like a circus dog playing. And they're like, when was the last time she played? When was the last time she went and had out? And they said, the reason like your dog is so cute and you're so great with your dog, because you communicate with your dog makes you feel loved no matter what. They said, please, please, please. They put your face on your dog's face. I don't want you to do that. But the way your dog loves you is the way you need to love yourself. You need to love yourself. And I want you to stop, like Eleanor, to stop worrying about getting things right and to just recognize what you're doing in the moment. I want to celebrate you right now for being on this call and allowing yourself to be vulnerable and ask that question. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Well, I feel like I've been finally taking some steps, to get out of the fear and just go, okay, trust and walk forward and, make some moves for things, and no, I'm not being a victim at all, but, it's been hard. And, but thank you. I'd like that piece of looking back. And I know I've had really good pieces in my life, and it's like I am so sensitive, and it's been so hard for me.
So somebody said to me once, who told you life was going to be easy? And I don't mean this. I had a very hard life too, and we're very sensitive people, so we don't experience life in a shallow way. We experience in a very deep way. So Spirit has really taught me how to be with my empathic ability, my sensitivities, and still live life. And that's what you're doing. I want to say something real quick to you. And then I have a question for the people. And then I want to see if John has anything or you have anything. Spirit wants you, when you go through and you write down the things you've accomplished, write down the character trait you possessed to make it happen. So say like one of the biggest things for me was going away to school. We'll just say that. It took courage for me to leave the community, the neighborhood, the drugs, to go away to school to someplace I didn't know. So write down the character trait with each thing. And notice how you can invite that character trait in, those parts of yourself, to take movement now. Let me just give everybody a reading. So Gloria's a little blurred for me. Blurry is beautiful because blurry means we're not trying to define ourselves in any past experience. What is the blurry in a positive way trying to tell Gloria? Put that in the chat. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Gloria, it's some of your conversation also, if you go back and listen, you said about walking forward and moving on. And for me, the word when you came up, I got lethargy. It's like, oh, it's like your physical body wants to move, or I'm not sure how much you're moving or walking or just being in your sensual nature. Again, it's your body wants the activation. So if there's a way for you to feel the physicality, going maybe for longer walks outside with your dog, being in the house moving. I like you outside better moving. I'm not sure where you are, what kind of restrictions that you have, but just creating that opportunity, because again, the walking forward, the moving on, it's your body wants to be activated, and there's a confidence that'll be built from that you'll ground it in, and you'll find it easier to step into the energy that you're into, that community, into that belonging. It's there for you.
Yeah, well, I live in Mexico. I live in a neighborhood where we had a huge area where I could walk her and she could be off leash, and there was lots of trees and everything. And now they're building a huge development there, and it's been driving me crazy. And so we could take 3 walks a day, but I can't, we don't have the freedom. And boy, that's a big piece. What John, I heard you too about that freedom, to do walks. And now I need to move. I'm really not out of where I live, not out of the town, Mexico, not out of Mexico, I don't think, but from this neighborhood now, because it's just, it's constricting. It's making me sad every day when I come out and I see all this building.
But that's so good. You want to make that the motivating factor. I couldn't wait to get out of LA, and that was, I had a beautiful house. I cried when I left my house. But that was me. I needed to be in nature. I needed to walk out with my dogs. Let that be the motivation. That's a great moment. You are no longer going to settle for this type of lifestyle. This is not for you.
Well, and Marilyn, in that also is like, so you're resisting going outside because of this. So you're walking with resentments.
Yeah.
You're carrying, and well, it's not a problem if you just change your perspective. It's like, wow, and I'm going to be grateful when I move to the time I did have here. And how wonderful it's been here, and the time that I've had, and I've indoctrinated myself into Mexico, or this was an amazing phase, and look how it's changing. That means I'm changing. And so being in gratitude for the changes around you, that is reflecting the changes that you're going through as well, rather than I'm not going outside and I'm going to limit it. This is constraining. I hate it. Everything's changing. I feel it's like you're creating that within yourself.
Yeah, no, I every morning when I meditate, I go, okay, you're not going to be angry we do still go out and walk. We take long walks, but they're more with traffic, and I have to just see this construction all around. So I tell myself, don't be angry. Just, it's going to be over soon. You just.
And Mexico construction is a whole different level. I know. And they're enough.
Yeah, but that's great. Your guides getting you out. Every time I say I'm in Marin, it's beautiful, I plan on moving. Every time I'm like, oh, I'm good here, they do something so disruptive. I'm like, stop it already. I get it. You want me out of here. I'm working. So I love that. Great.
Yes. Thank you.
And I love what people are writing in the chat. So make sure you go in there, Gloria, and read them. I love the blurry and how it was between. It's just great. So great job.
There's a couple of people that are popping up for me, Marilyn.
Oh, please go ahead.
Let's call Rebecca. Let's go to you first. Hi. And Gloria, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gloria.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi. Thank you for having me. This has been a beautiful conversation.
Thanks, Rebecca.
You're welcome. Thank you. And my 5-year-old hears me talking, so now he wants to come in and join us. I hope you guys don't mind.
Let him join us. That's okay. I'm used to it. Very used to it. Hi there.
The little boy in the background likes that. So
yeah.
They're saying hi to you.
We just manifested that. Look at that.
I do have a question that did come to me when I was sitting here, and I might get emotional because it really hit me pretty hard. But I was inspired to write a little note to myself, and it says, I love myself. I am here. I feel free. It's time to come home now. And that last line hit me so hard. And I thought, I don't exactly know what home is. And I think that because of that, I feel like Dorothy, and I've got the ruby red slippers and I don't know how to use them. And I'm wondering if you can provide some insight that I'm not able to receive from my own guidance.
Okay. So something I want to say to everybody, John and me included, how many of us feel like we're home?
Yeah. You know my
What?
You know my answer.
Yeah, and mine too. It's like, how many of us feel like we're home? We're a lot of us are struggling with that right now. So Rebecca, it's a beautiful place to be. But of course, what they meant for you is so much more about dropping into your own personal being, your own self, and coming home to your gifts, coming home to what you're capable of doing. My legs are crossed. My legs are never crossed during a reading. That's a very vulnerable space. So you may have had an experience, or there may be something inside of you that if you're in your gifts, you're in your full genius, you're in your full experience, you won't be accepted, or you won't be normal, or you won't be able to be who you really are. And they're saying you're safe, because home is about safety.
Yeah.
And a lot of us didn't have the opportunity to be in a physical home that provided safety, but they're letting you know that you are safe with this. So I want to be able to uncross my legs and walk in the world. This is you, not me. When I say I want to, this is Rebecca. They want you to walk in the world, uncross legs, and be in the full divinity of who you are. And then you're coming, you already home, but you're going to discover more and more what home is.
Even if I'm afraid of my own power, because it seems like my power is pretty strong. And at times I don't know if I can trust myself, especially considering the fact that, as a human, I have all the human experience of anger and frustration and all the rest of that stuff, even with the awakening path. And knowing that power, I think, well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking about. I'm looking at a really big shadow side of myself that just recently revealed itself to me, that I know did a lot of damage. And I think there's a piece of me that doesn't feel like it is welcome to be a part of this experience, even though all of the teaching I've received has taught me that it is who I am as as oneness. So as I'm embodying oneness, I think it wants to be here too. And I don't know how to accept it and trust it, this piece of me, and love it whole with the rest of me too. It feels dangerous.
So I want you to do two things, and this is a much bigger question than I may be able to provide a full on answer, but I'll be able to give you some of this right now.
Okay.
So part of this is I want you to write down what would happen if I was fully in my power. And I want you to write out everything that you think would happen to you if you were fully in your power. What would you lose? What would you gain? And I want you to really address it, journaling and feeling it. Okay. Then the other thing I want you to know is that the shadow side is part of you, and you're not in a position where you will allow her to drive the ship or the boat anymore, but we don't want to deny her. We don't want to ignore her, because she kept you safe at one time in your life, even if what she was doing was drinking and causing a ruckus. I have a shadow side that was a barroom brawler, man. I did a lot of things, and I was very afraid. I didn't trust myself to be in my full energy and have that be part of me. Now I've made friends with them. So I don't know what shadow work you're doing, but for me personally, what I did, there's a whole thing I did, but I'm not going to get into it today because I can't. But I would want you to sit down and have that shadow side be a guide. Have a conversation. It's not that she gets to guide your path, but you talk with each other and you communicate and do some things that shadow side likes to do that's healthy, and that you can do that you deem healthy. But get to know each other and get to be friends. And then what I did with my parts, we did a campfire together, all of my sides, and we came together, and my higher self was there too to facilitate it. And then we became one.
Yes.
Which was so incredible. And so I want you to not be afraid of that. I want you to know that you're stronger. You're not going to fall into certain things. If there's, whether, like for me, it was cocaine addictions, things like that, whatever it may be, I'm not worried about that anymore. I'm not worried about, and sometimes it shows up. It showed up on the tennis court the other day when this girl was like, dial it back. And I was like, oh, I'm going to punch her. And I walked away. I did not take that side. You're much stronger than you think, Rebecca. You can't hide the power anymore. You're not allowed. She doesn't want you to, but she doesn't get to drive it. That's the end of the story. You're the adult, just like with the 5-year-old. John, I know you have something to add here. It's a lot but I love the question. And I also love how you owned your power on the question. You didn't say, you're like, I know if I step into my power, it's really big. Good for you.
Thank you.
Well, speaking into him already states that you're not afraid of it because you're facing that part that you are afraid that if you wake up too much, that monster is going to wake up and take over. So know that you've already taken a step towards that. And yeah, you've been working with the shadow. For me, I'm a proponent of get in front of a mirror and let your shadow rage and let it out fully. And okay, destroy. It's like you and me here. I'm not going anywhere. And put yourself in a safe space. By the way, and let it talk, let it rage, let it flow through you if you're in a stable place to do that and emotionally ready. And I have to say that assuming you're not going through psychiatric care or anything like that. And it has to be said because some people are, and then that's a whole different level of psychosis that can emerge, and we can't put you into that. But if it's something that you're fearing with compassion and with fierce determination, I'm not going to abandon you. Because that part of you also seeks love, but it's misunderstood and it's seeking and doesn't know how. And so who can guide it but you and your power?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are helping me so much. Thank you.
I love what John just said. You can guide her in your power. I love that.
Yeah.
And for me, what I was getting the first time you came, right when you got, I got a heartbreak. Like my heart was breaking. It's like, and so wherever your heart was broken, you think that part of that is that shadow anger side, but the underlying layer of it may be that heartbreak and that sadness that wants to be expressed as well.
Sorry, go ahead, Rebecca.
There's so many. There are a lot of them.
But it's not specific, it's the energy of it and allowing it to flow through you. So surrendering, uncrossing your legs for the flow to come through of the sadness. Yeah.
You know, you guys, I've been doing pelvic work too. So it's kind of interesting. This is coming up this way.
Good. That's creativity. And that's also where your belief system lives for me personally, because I work with the chakras in a different way. And you obviously have an Om symbol behind you. But John, one thing I want to say real quick, Rebecca, it's what we started our conversation with. It's gone are the days where you can hide from these feelings. They have to come up and out in order for us to live an empowered life.
Yes.
Great work, Rebecca. And it's great that you're doing the pelvic work. So Rebecca's symbol behind her, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
What is it communicating to her? Please only positive, which everybody's done really great with. It's not about like blowing the smoke up people's butt in readings, but I teach a certain way where you don't project crap onto someone else's reading. I won't allow it, but just give her a little bit so she has something in the chat to further move on. What the symbol is.
I want to share what it symbolized, because when I first saw you in the video, it was like this crown. This crown.
I saw a lotus.
You saw a lotus? Oh, interesting. But I saw you like wearing a crown. If you go back and so a lotus, interesting. From the shadows into the light, right?
With the crown on in her empowerment. Love it.
Yeah.
I feel as though if I embrace the shadow side, I will find a place of power I've never known before, and compassion.
Rephrase if.
When. Yeah. I mean, because she's already here. It's time. It's time.
We can't be fragmented anymore. Fragmentation is not working.
No.
Not that I know that we're a fully whole. I don't know about that until we get there, and I don't even know when we die. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation John and I could have. Great work.
Thank you.
And I also have to just say, in the repercussions of all this is for everybody. And again, it's coming up for me very strongly, very possibly because I'm going to be a grandfather now, and it's stimulating different levels of action. But
hold on there.
If I don't step into me, if I don't step into the authenticity and the truth of me, then what type of legacy am I leaving for my grandchildren?
Yeah.
So what responsibility do I have, not only for myself, which I do, and for my soul and for my spirit, that isn't demanding anything of me, but it's inviting me into. But what's the cost of me not doing that to myself and to others?
Yeah.
And so that's, again, it's a spiritual maturity that we're in. And for the collective and what we're witnessing in the world, it's calling us forward. It's not, we're not deteriorating the world. We're enlightening the world. And so it's just, it's a powerful time, and it's being called in every single one of us in different ways, but we're all being called. So don't hold back, for the love of you and for the love of others. Yeah, Rebecca, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone.
So wonderful. Y'all, the link for April, will you put the link for Marilyn's course in the chat box? What time do you run your classes, Marilyn? Someone was asking. You're muted.
It's a recorded class.
Okay.
So I'm sorry I didn't say that. So they're both digital, they're all digital classes, but if you do the $1 upgrade into membership, I'm active in that. So there's I do a Q&A, guest where I do readings. I do an expert speaker call. We have an expert teacher that does a Q&A. And then there's constant reading circles. I can't give you how many we have, because members that have been with us for like 7 years and 5 years, they're really great readers. There's no ego in this group. I don't allow it. So they do reading circles. We do coloring circles. They're always bringing something to the table because they're so magical, and they get together as a community. They just did a reading circle like on Monday, and it was like everybody had so much fun. And people who are afraid to give readings, they're run by such incredible beings. There's such an incredible live component of community in this group, that people are like, I'm so afraid. And then they do it and they're like, oh my goodness, that blew my mind. So, and then I'm active on the Facebook page as well. So I answer questions and stuff. I don't answer reading questions, but I answer coaching questions and stuff. It's very, very interactive.
Yeah. And again, to get into the divine guidance and into those courses, that's just, you guys already get how Marilyn works and the energy she brings through. And isn't it empowering?
Thank you.
Can you feel yourself? I mean, everybody really on this call, I'm not asking you for yourself, Marilyn. Right? You can feel how it's another notch, right? It's like, oh, wait, why do I have extra access? And that's what happens.
Well, everybody's reading. So anybody who says they're not talking to their guides, I want you, April, you can save the chat. I don't know if you can, like, part of me would like to take that chat and be like, but it's, you all did readings. Everybody's done readings on this call.
It's been amazing. Marilyn, thank you so much. It's always so fun for you. We've already gone over an hour and a half. So it's been wonderful. We'll do this again with Marilyn. She's been on for 10 years almost. So I'm going to.
I know. Whenever April sends me the invitation, John wants you back. I'm like, why?
Because it's fun. Because joy, because it's play. This is play for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for the play, for the intimacy, and for the time. Y'all have a great night.